That's you right there in the center, next to his house.
I really hate to be the one to tell you this, but that guy, your neighbor...
Jerry.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
That is a terrible vampire name. Jerry?
A classic vampire tale from the 1980s gets a new spin, and we're also talking about one of my favorite films of all time. Hello there everybody, I'm movie critic Nick Iacobucci for RealScreenReviews.com, and our next movie review is the updated horror and thriller Fright Night. Fright Night opened around the nation on Friday, August 19, 2011, and it stars Colin Farrell, Anton Yelchin, David Tennant, Toni Collette, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. This new version of Fright Night comes to us in 3D and from director Craig Gillespie, the director of Lars on the Real Girl and Mr. Woodcock with Billy Bob Thornton. He now takes on a very respected original film in hopes of breathing new life and fun into an already proven formula. Teenager Charlie Brewster is portrayed by Anton Yelchin, and he guesses that his new neighbor Jerry Dandridge, who is played with wonderful charisma by Colin Farrell, is a vampire. Not only is he living right next door, Charlie also suspects him of being responsible for a string of recent deaths. When no one he knows will believe him, he enlists the assistance of Peter Vincent, who is the opportunistic host of the vampire show on the Vegas Strip. Charlie will need Mr. Vincent's help, as well as Evil Ed and sometimes girlfriend Amy Peterson, to help him take down his favorite neighbor Jerry. Now, by the time the curtain falls on this adventure, we will have been through almost every vampire cliche from holy water to wooden stakes, but somehow they still made this one hell of a fun ride. Well, people, they had huge expectations to live up to, because I watch the original 25-year-old Fright Night at least a couple times a year, and I still haven't gotten bored with it. But I am more than happy to report that I think that this new Fright Night is not only a great film, but it might as well be the best remake that I have ever seen. They attain this by taking a wonderful original story to remake, and any and all changes that they brought to the film were smart, intelligent, and full of humor. Finally, a filmmaker took a pre-existing project and did nothing but genuinely add to an already good concept. The same way that Disturbia so nicely contemporized Rear Window a few years back, this new Fright Night modernizes its predecessor with a cleverness that never fades throughout. Now, one of the biggest reasons that this film succeeds so brilliantly is that it's a thriller that's actually thrilling. Go figure. From beginning to end, there are heart-pounding scenes, as well as jumps, scares, and anything that makes a horror film well above average. Fright Night is dark and serious, and at the same time also funny and entertaining. They also managed to keep just enough of the original film consistently throughout this feature. Now, just like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead or the more recent Insidious, this is a real movie, unlike the Friday the 13th or the dreadful, repeat dreadful, Final Destination films. Let's see. The two leads are just fantastic. Anton Yelchin, he epitomizes likability and steps into the character of Charlie Brewster almost flawlessly. Just as in the original, Charlie Brewster is dorky enough to sympathize with, but he's definitely not a wimp or cowardly in any way. Then you have Colin Farrell, who can be described only as, boy, this guy's just cool. Others have described his return to Hollywood as a rebirth of sorts, but I have always thought of him to be one of Tinseltown's most talented character actors. Within the film, he's compared to the shark in Jaws, but personally I was thinking the Terminator or the train in Unstoppable. He just keeps coming, and rarely does he relent. Something else that is relentless is the pace of the film and the suspense that it delivers. Adding to that suspense is a very credible acting turn by TV's Doctor Who, David Tennant, who is stepping in for the late and great Roddy McDowall as Peter Vincent. His Peter Vincent brings the same charisma and appeal as before, and there are also a few surprises thrown in that help tie in his past as a backstory. Fright Night comes in right at 1 hour and 45 minutes, but feels about half that long because it's such a fun story to be part of. I think that I can name dozens of films where a truly bad ending kind of ruined the whole afternoon at the theater, but this is the complete opposite, where a great ending solidifies a great movie-going experience. This movie is confident, knows exactly what story it wants to tell, and succeeds on every level to which it set out. This is every bit just as good as the original, and I can't help but deem this a Fright Night to remember. A must-see for the horror genre that I can happily give 3 1/2 stars out of 4. And remember, people, I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.